Hello and welcome back to Build Proportion Lab at Devoxx France 2024, brought live to you from Paris. And my next guest is Dimitri Baeli.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you.
And look at us, hats and all. And we're going to discuss a little bit the evolution of DevOps in the last 10 years.
Yes.
So you were mentioning that you 10 years ago you did a talk about the state of DevOps. Right.
Yes. We were in a room for 6 hours at Devoxx to discuss with the people about their practice, the tool, the change of DevOps 10 years ago. And this year, Devoxx invited us to redo the talk to check about what changed, what is hard, is it totally new for people, and things like that. So we spent same 4 hours yesterday, kind of an open space to discuss with people what is hard, what they get, what is new in DevOps. And we'll have a second talk today about the future of DevOps. And that's it. So
that's fascinating. So tell me what changed? What happened in the last 10 years? And I guess the interesting question here, this is a conference for developers, really.
Yes.
So it gives a unique perspective. It's not like your DevOps days when they're professionals, DevOps professionals discuss it. Here you speak with developers, so they have obviously a very different perspective about it. So what do you hear? What did you hear then? What do you hear now? What's the difference?
So first thing, obvious, DevOps, it's not a position, it's a culture. And that's still weird for everybody, that some positions are called DevOps. So we said, we don't care that, it's a skill to be a dev and an ops, and that we mix skills. But let's not talk about job positions first. So let's talk about culture and what is hard to get dev and ops skills working together. And let's try to identify what changed. So we displayed the same slide as 10 years ago. Nothing changed. DevOps is still monitoring, build, speed of getting dev and ops working together, kind of new explanation with the CALMS acronym to explain more what is the culture. But same topics. It's about people with different skills working together. And guess what? It's hard. And so, yeah, good things.
So I would say maybe one of the new things is platform engineering, the introduction of platform engineering. So how do people see it? What do they understand? What is it and how it helps DevOps?
So we have a kind of a discussion on the topic. And platform engineering emerged when you have large teams. So it's our case at Back Market. We have 40 squads. And 6, 7 of them are forming a platform because it's useful to have product engineering squads that are focused on delivering value, and some squads are providing them a platform to operate and to be autonomous. So that's great, but there's a slight feeling that we are recreating a silo. And the finding, to go quick, is that if the platform acts as a product system, with each squad being a product squad to serve the other squads, then we are not rebuilding a silo.
Right, because the platform is then a complete product that other people consume instead of having this friction of different incentives that we had between the teams. So the way I see platform engineering is solving this problem of DevOps engineer as a job title, right? Because in the end of the day, the whole idea is that it's very, very hard to know everything about everything.
Definitely.
Developers don't want to learn all the in and outs of Kubernetes.
No.
So they kind of delegate it to those DevOps engineers. And next thing we know, we have the silos back on, and we need to learn how to work with DevOps
Yeah.
teams and dev teams and how to bridge between them. Maybe we'll come with DevOps as the next thing, right? So, and the way to solve it is to take the platform as a product,
Yeah.
as something that enables developers to work on the entire DevOps infinity circle without getting into the weeds of all the ops related technologies.
Yeah, definitely. And one interesting thing that occurred yesterday is identifying the main problems the devs, mostly in the room, have within the DevOps ecosystem. And the two things that emerged was culture switch, so culture conflict. How do you get two cultures together in any case? And so we digged a bit into that to say, let's take one example, do some post-mortem of one case that where the two cultures are conflicting, and try to study that as an incident of the organization and solve the root cause of those. So it's kind of a way to find a small starting point and not solve as an engineer the theory of cultures mapping. But
This
just
is
take-
very interesting. Can you
Yeah.
share with me this example? What was the
But it's-
culture problem and how? What was the root cause?
It's more when you have two cultures that are conflicting, you should find a starting point. So, and you should take one example of the two cultures that are conflicting. So it could be someone refusing to do a deployment as a dev. So that's an opportunity to say why, as a dev, you don't want to deploy the solution saying it's the ops to do it, for example. And then you dig an extreme simple case, but it's the whole system that is in question. And then you can ask 5 whys to do a post-mortem of that. What is the root cause and what are the actions we should take from that? Because that's an incident of the organization.
So they will probably tell you something like, you know what, I don't want to do this deployment because it's there are some very complicated processes involved, and the technology is not familiar, and we're talking about deploying to production. So I'm hesitant to break something. But I also don't have the capacity to learn all this stuff. So this is why I prefer a professional to do the deployment for me.
And
What do you say to that?
then you know that if you picked a real incident in your org that is key for the value delivery of your system, then any idea to solve that is welcome, and it's really specific to your company. It's not solving a generic problem. It's really, if you solve this one, you know you're solving a real critical incident. And then you can discuss with the dev, would you like to try? So we identified yesterday that, I don't know in English, it's when you switch positions and you visit the others. So let's join an ops team and work with them for 2 weeks or something like that, or a day or an hour, but discover their view of the system is an interesting point, or the reverse. So we can just do a step toward the solution is a starting point. But if you take a real example, then you're solving a simpler problem, probably.
This is fascinating. This is great. And Dimitri, so you mentioned you also have a forum of CTOs.
Yes, Devoxx.
That you run and try to bring together those high-level technical executives in the companies. I wonder, their perspective on DevOps is probably entirely different from the perspective of developers. What do you learn about DevOps from them?
Good question. I've not digged that much. So Devoxx is a community of CTO in France. So we have 3,000 CTOs in a Slack that exchange together. That's not a topic that occurs that much. So I guess they somehow know the topic. So it's not devs not knowing ops. CTOs are exposed. I was CTO in a company, and I was exposed to that, knowing both parts. So my work was to get them joining. So the CTO somehow is DevOps by design.
Absolutely. They are those who enable
Yes.
this culture.
So-
But I wonder why this topic is not coming up. Because it's trivial and everybody know how to do it? Because this is something they don't think about?
Maybe it's trivial when the CTO is managing the ops and the devs because he solved the problem, and it occurs when there's a CTO and a CIO that are managing two parts of the system and not having the same teams or joining. But it's no, maybe we should investigate more on that case. But I don't know.
This is very interesting. Dimitri, thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
It was fascinating. We learned a lot, and I guess there is still work to be done.
I guess
We're
we'll be
15
there
years.
in 10 years. So see you in 10 years.
See you in 10 years, and we'll see. Probably people will continue complaining about the same thing that we don't want to learn Kubernetes. But yeah, we'll see about that. Thank you, Dimitri, and thank you all for watching.
Thanks a
Stay
lot.
tuned. Our next guest is already right here, so we will be back live in just a couple of minutes. Thank you, and bye-bye.